I feel like I'm in the Poseidon Adventure. Hello, Atomic Elf 1. I haven't broadcast from my actual computer in an age. Can you hear me? What I'm trying to do is figure out if I can invite viewers to see me here and join me here rather than using my little tiny phone. I know how to do that. I'm just wondering if I can do that here. I don't see that option. Let me just see if I can move my camera so I can. Look, oh my God. Is that what I look like? Poor you. Poor you, dear viewer. I remember this now that I've got this bright light coming from the computer that's shoving me in the face. Now, if I cover this up and look down at my screen, it goes on forever. My Wacom tablet, I'll be able to have at least the light bulb not bothering me. Hot off the press. This piece of paper is blue. It's that color. So anyway, I need to figure out what, if anything, I want to do about this. First of all, it appears that I'm not able to invite someone to join me. Megalopolis. So, Atomic, I'm trying to remember who you are. It's been a long time since I've been broadcasting live. So, what is your first name and where are you from? I know it'll come back to me in a little bit. God, this is awful lighting. Let's see. Will this help? A little bit. God. Oh, okay, of course. Yes, Ben. Ben. Did you ever actually meet Cedar yet? I think he would enjoy meeting you if, in fact, you haven't met already. I just got a text from him yesterday. Well, you know, life is busy, but both of you need to have a lunch someday. Presumably, you can manage a lunch at the same time, and you can leave your work or family or whatever behind, and you can meet at a simple restaurant, even Burger King or McDonald's, even. That's the choices you have. But I think he would enjoy meeting you and you meeting him. I really do have to figure out how to make this less awful. I wonder if I have a piece of red. Let me try something. Just don't go away. Don't go away. Some see-through vinyl, see-through plastic. There, that helps. Right? It fixes it a little bit. I imagine I can find a small piece that can go right over the lens here. But eventually what I want to do is to have the camera aiming down, and I will be drawing on this. That's my cunning plan. That's what I used to do. But I also used to be able to invite two people where we could draw side by side. And I just don't know whether I can do that using this device. Top chat participants. Timestamp reaction participants. Ooh, I'm going to try something. Oh no, that's not going to work. It's just someone in the chat. I don't have access to this feature, whatever that feature is. I don't have access to that feature, whatever that feature is. Manage. Now that's has to do with something else. I'm not using StreamYard at all. I'm doing this directly through YouTube because I stopped. StreamYard was $35 a month or something, and I thought, well, that's $35 I don't need to spend, but it might be the only way that I can do this. Customization. Live chat reply, show more subscribers, cancel. I know that when I'm broadcasting live on my phone, using my phone, I am allowed to send a person a link and they can click on that and they'll suddenly join me. No, I wasn't. I'm I wasn't thinking that you maybe could do that, but again, I'm just trying to figure out. I don't know what OBS is. Online broadcasting service, or what? Well, 7 people are evidently are watching us right now. Poor things. Can't they do something more important? My iPads, which are bigger, and I was able to do StreamYard with them, allowed me to see what the other person was saying and doing and drawing. But on the iPhone, half of the screen is not very big to be able to see what people are doing. So I was hoping I could do something here, even with the limited lighting options. I remember that the lighting was a big issue with me when I was doing this before, because I just hated the fact that I, look like this. I look like an old man. I don't have the ability to hide my age spots or whatever those things are. Again, if I take this little piece of plastic, it makes it look a little bit better. I suppose if I took a green piece of plastic, it would look worse. I do miss chatting with you folks and maybe I should just pay the $35 a month. I spend twice that a night on beer, so I should be able to spend $30 a month, $1 a day. The other thing about StreamYard I wasn't sure about was whether, if I were to decide to drop StreamYard, which I have done, I could test this out, whether all of the things I did through StreamYard would disappear. And that was a fear that I had at one point. Hey, my God, Tasha. I think of you often. Tasha, I do. When I'm arguing with conservatives about transgender rights and things like that, I don't know why that happened. I think of the people that I know that are considering or have transgendered partially or fully, and I keep telling people that 100% of the people that I know are happier now than they were before. And that's all I say. They read reports about suicide rates going up and things like that. And, the people that are suicidal after some sort of traumatic event in their life, whether it's getting a divorce or losing a spouse or um, coming out of the closet. You think that everything is going to be great after that. Well, it isn't. You're still the same person you were before. You still have the same fears and the same anxieties, some of the same anxieties. And if you were suicidal after a traumatic event, chances are you were suicidal before. I remember there was this documentary done by a reporter in Minnesota. It was broadcast on public television around the country. It was evidently a good broadcast. It was called "Death of a Porn Star," and it talked about this girl who grew up in Minnesota and eventually moved to California to become a movie star, ended up working in the sex trade, making pornographic movies, and she killed herself. So this guy, the reporter, was blaming pornography for her suicide. But even before she got out of high school, even before she went anywhere near a camera, the guy had said way at the beginning that she was an unhappy girl and she tried suicide once or twice. So she was suicidal in God's country of Minnesota, living on a farm. And she eventually succeeded in killing herself when she moved to California. So don't blame it on the porn industry. So anyway, I keep on mentioning you, not by name, of course, but you by your conversations with me, that you're happier now. And someone just today said I was lying when I said that. Well, no, wasn't. 100% of the people, the transgender people I know personally, are happier now than they were before. Well, they said they're happier now than they were before. Now, I can't tell whether everyone is telling the truth or not, but I can report truthfully that they have told me that they are happier now. And how happiness is measured, you can't, put a thermometer down under my tongue and measure whether I'm actually happy or not. It's a more complicated thing than that, but I can certainly say with 100% honesty that the people that I have talked to have told me they are happier. So I'm glad you're happier. And how is your spouse, whose name will come to me in a minute? I'm sorry that it's been so long since I've talked to you, that all of the names and screen names and Evie, is it Evie or Evie? E or Ev? And I know one of the last times I spoke with you, Tasha, your mother had recently died. And are you doing well? The playful of Eve. Are you doing okay? Still writing with that beautiful Schaefer maroon, I think, 33. Oh, good. Is Evie is Evie reconnected with uh, their family yet? I know that that was another thing that happened, and that's always a harder thing to deal with. Oh, good. I'm really, really happy to hear that. That makes me feel very good. That when you are quote disowned or um, feel estranged from your family or your friends or your workmates because of something, whatever that something is. Um, whether you, let's say, were in a religious family and you suddenly decided you wanted to be atheist, some religious people um, excommunicate you essentially, and you're lost in a way from this anchor you have. And um, for better or for worse, they are still your family and your anchor. And it's good if you can uh, keep that connection going, even if it's a little strained at times. I think it's nice if the door is open on each side. Um, I feel like I want to cry, but I'm not going to. Um, I don't know why I want to cry. My experience wasn't all that bad, but well, well, that is tough. Um, Often when it is a family member, I know that mothers would say and fathers would say, "Where did I go wrong? How did I raise them so they blame themselves for this thing that they think is a problem?" And your brother is remembering you from the before times, and um, he's mourning the loss of the relationship that he had with this other person that happens to be you. So, uh, and you have to, I guess, remind him that 82% of you is the same as you were before, or whatever the percentage that you feel the new you is different from the old you, but he might um, really miss the 12% that isn't the same person. So it's just strange. Okay, what pen are you using today, Tasha? Let's change the subject. Do you still use that red maroon, rather Schaefer 33? I think you got 3 pens from me, but that was the one you liked the best, if I remember, because it had that really, really fine, just imperceptibly flexible and such a fine, tiny, tiny, tiny point that was the one that you gravitated to the most. Ah, damn. they do that, and they do that faster than they used to. I don't know if the company is using a different recipe or if it's the ozone layer or the inks are different than they used to be. But I find that I have to replace sacks more often than I used to. And I really don't know what someone once said it was the recipe that the company is using isn't the same, or they're not curing them long enough. And but I don't know what the problem is. You can certainly buy a sack from all sorts of people online, and you can put a new one on it. It's not hardly rocket science. If you were here, I'd do it for you here, but sending it through the mail and sending it back, and by the time I get around to doing it, you know, I'll be dead by then. I'm so slow at doing pen stuff these days. Who else is in the room? Ben, are you still in the room? I didn't mean to turn left and talk about. I mean, one of the things I like about these live conversations is the conversation can turn left and then turn left again, and end up talking about something that's entirely different than what I started with. And sometimes it's fun, but sometimes if you're waiting for me to get back to talk about pens or talk about whatever else we were talking about, that may never happen. I need to shave. I'm looking a little bit scruffier than I normally am. That's the good thing about having this horrible camera point out the grim details. Looking in the mirror in the bathroom, I don't see quite the same thing as I'm seeing right here. Noodler's pen, that's good. I'm getting to the point where I have to start selling my pens because I have too many. And but I just sold a Skyline set to someone. Finally sent it off last week, and it took me forever to find, first of all, a pencil that worked. It wasn't somehow broken or clogged or something. So I found the pencil, then I had to find the matching pen. And so all I needed was a gold fill cap. I could unscrew the barrel part of the cap and put it on the little derby that I needed. But all of the ones I said, well, I'll just look in my collection. But all of them had names on them that I like. And I don't know. It took me a long time to find that one little part. And the pens that I have in my collection not only oh dear. Almost all the pens I have in my quote collection have really, really nice nibs. They're not all flexible. Some are broad, some are very firm but very fine. They're just nibs that I really like, that I put in pens, that I also like for different reasons. So there's pens that I have that everyone likes that are mint and beautiful and everything, but I also have pens that I really like that have engravings or names, monograms engraved, or names engraved on them. And I really like those pens a lot. And to sell them, most people don't like them and don't want to pay as much money for them. So the incentive for me to sell them is lessened. But so what I do, if someone needs a nib, like someone right now from Canada wants me to sell them some flexible stub nibs, which of course everyone wants, including me. But I don't use them very much because my calligraphy business sort of went south with COVID. So I don't need them. And I don't really need all of my Frankenpen Victorian pen creations either. So I'm going to start selling those off in the coming years if I live that long. Anyway, I think I'm going to end the stream in a minute, just because I do have to do some other work. But it's good seeing you again, and I'm glad that you got to see Evie's family. I think that's great for you. It's good for you, certainly. That's great for Evie, and it's really great for her family. You may not think it's really great, but it is. It's it took them some it took that family more strength, I think, than we realize to extend the olive branch, because they've got decades and generations of tradition that's drilled into their heads. And it's hard to erase that. And you don't have to erase it. That's not the right word. It's hard to amend that to include something that's not traditional. And of the families that are out there, you and Evie are pretty much at one end of that big long spectrum. They're way at the other end. So the fact that you could get together at all is a good thing. And hopefully your brother will get on the same boat at some point. Anyway, good seeing you again. And Ben, I don't know if you're here anymore, and there's 7 other people watching. Okay. Huh. 25 years older. Cradle robber, that person was. No, it's what one's as well, the sexual diversity and sexual attractiveness that exists in the world is quite broad. And that's what makes it fun. As I reach my twilight years, sometimes it's nice to know that there are 20-somethings that think I'm attractive. I don't know their names or phone numbers, but they're out there somewhere. God damn it. Anyway, you be good, Tasha. Nice talking to you again, and Ben and whoever else. 50. Oh, 50. I remember 50. That was, to do the math, get my calculator out. That was 18 years ago for me, 50. Anyway, you be good. We'll catch you later. Bye bye.